Text chat back.
That's very sharp. That's
I'm the
very
one.
sharp.
But Jack thinks I'm an idiot.
Because
I'm
I
gonna
wouldn't have
need my
thought to
text chat
say.
back.
No,
Get
if you
rid of
keep
him.
interrupting,
Say
you're going
that.
to be unmuted.
Fuck you.
Mute the faggot.
Fuck you too.
So even if somebody does something that is detrimental to themselves, there's always going to be some benefit, some
That would
selfish
be
aspect.
that would be to reduce selfishness to a tautology, which is uninteresting.
What?
Do you agree with me
So
that
I want to tell you something about their position. So even if I like put a fucking chip in your brain and I'm like making you do something, but it's as long as there's some deliberation process and you're in accord with your desires, that even if I'm forcing you to do it by putting a chip in your brain, and controlling your actions, then you're that's free will.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry. If there was a chip in my brain that was controlling my action, that's free will. I'm rejecting, libertarian free will.
No, I'm telling you what the Bilgrami view is.
The Bilgrami view is that if there was a chip in my brain that would tell me what to do, that's free will.
No, like if I put a chip in your brain, I'm controlling all your actions. I'm like controlling.
He must be using the word in a different way than I'm understanding it. What would not be free will? I guess would be the question.
Like
That's
they
not
think
caused
that it's
by your beliefs and desires.
they
So
think
just
any
anything
manipulation
caused.
case.
He's
They
just
think any
using the word-
manipulation case is free will as long as you're acting in accord with your desires.
I mean, you accept the voluntary and involuntary distinction, right? You mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, so if you want to say we're going to use the word free to mean something like we do colloquially, that's fine. That's really all you mean at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's a metaphysics in that. But the point is, regardless of the metaphysics, right? If you think that action can be
That's
free,
not what most people mean by free will. So most people say I believe in free will are making most philosophical people that are saying I believe in free will are trying to make a stronger claim.
well,
Yeah,
I think,
most
Think about
compatibilists
Socrates. What was that guy? What was that guy at NYU?
Mihalis.
Yeah, like think about him. He was making much
Yeah,
stronger.
he was somebody who thought that free will. He seemed to have a libertarian view of what free will is.
That's what I'm saying. Most people
Because like those are
most people
people who think that. Are you familiar with Frankfurt counterexamples?
Yeah.
So those are people who kind of think that Frankfurt counterexamples don't show that the principle of alternative possibilities is a necessary condition for freedom, right? Because in a Frankfurt counterexample, right, it seems like even though I couldn't have done otherwise, right, it doesn't matter that they all.
A little bit.
Sorry. Okay, so
even if I could have done it.
Yeah, so in a Frankfurt counterexample, even if I couldn't have done otherwise, nonetheless, I freely did what I did because I desired it, right? And so that's supposed to show that the principle of alternative possibilities isn't a necessary condition for freedom, right? But he had intuitions of the opposite kind, right? Because he was saying that what freedom is that nothing actually explains the agent's action, right? And that's like a libertarian intuition.
Jack, are you saying that an unselfish motive is a selfish motive?
I didn't hear what you said.
Are you claiming that an unselfish motive is a selfish motive?
No, I think Godless Girl was saying that.
So, Mark Thomas, I'm fucking pissed. I was gathering evidence to use against you earlier, and I read exactly what it said about the fucking 1975 apocalypse, what it claimed to say in the Watchtower, and I went and I fucking got the PDFs of the old Watchtowers, and the fucking non-Jehovah's Witnesses that claim that was ever in Watchtower ever are just fucking totally full of shit, and that claims all over the internet. I strongly believed it. And I went into the fucking Watchtower and read it myself, and it's not there. So you're right, Mark.
You know what I don't understand, God?
The stuff I sent you,
Thank you
did
for
you?
being honest, Godless.
Did you
No,
read the
I didn't
stuff I
say
sent you?
anything, but I fucking read
Okay.
watched
You know what I don't understand, Godless?
what?
Darth Dawkins is, I don't think he's afraid to debate Mark Thomas. But I don't understand that because Mark Thomas humiliated him in the debate.
Yeah, Mark, do you remember when you humiliated him about the blood and meat?
Bum, 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 bum.
That was
It
fucking
would be
hilarious. I remember that.
humiliating.
Wait, how could Darth Dawkins screw up on that version script?
was
Oh,
off
that's
script.
You don't know
tragic.
that story, Molly?
No, I didn't know about that debate. How could
Oh,
fucking
I've got to tell you the story. So Darth Dawkins was trying to go after Mark because Jehovah's Witnesses have this thing about not eating blood.
blood
Uh,
transfusions? Yeah.
Yeah, but they have this thing about not consuming blood, right? And so Darth Dawkins said, you eat hamburgers and steaks, right? And Mark, said he did. And Darth Dawkins said that there's blood in hamburgers and steaks, so you're just behaving inconsistently with your, professed religious beliefs. And so Mark Thomas said, no, there isn't actually any blood in hamburger and steak, right? And so then Darth Dawkins said, you mean to tell me that you aren't familiar when you get like a hamburger patty that's uncooked and you put it on the grill and you see all that red stuff come out, that isn't blood? And Mark Thomas said, it isn't blood. And so Darth Dawkins started to ridicule Mark Thomas for thinking that wasn't blood. And so then Mark Thomas posted this article which said that people are often mistaken in thinking that the red liquid that comes out of hamburger meat is actually blood, when in fact it's just some other protein. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Oh, fuck.
Why did he take that fucking approach? Oh my gosh. So they dubbed it.
Nobody bothered to look at the link because Mark Thomas posted it, so that everybody just thought, who the fuck cares? Mark Thomas is going to post some crazy link. But of course, Josh was conscientious enough to look at the link. It is like, you guys don't realize what happened. Mark Thomas just humiliated EF. Look at the link that he posted. He described what was said in the link. And I think, like, Darth Dawkins, I think he must have shut up after that. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was game over for him.
Yeah, I remember that. It was so
We're
good.
gonna have to pay
Even I
interest on
remember
what
I
we
that.
pay,
I don't
but
really
can't
care
believe
about
he
that.
took that route. Because then you know what, Darth Dawkins did not even go by where they get the idea of the blood transfusions by the script and verse that they use. So he didn't even take the right route in debating Mark on that. Oh, tragic.
we paid it long before it was actually due to.
Only Jesus blood allowed.
I also
So
like.
they say if you fail to act in accord with your desires, that you're blameworthy. So you're blameworthy for not doing what it was impossible for you to do.
What? What'd you say?
Who the fuck is asking me that?
My name's William.
Oh, good.
That's John.
No, actually, I think it's so interesting. I wasn't really paying attention, so I don't know if you guys hashed this out real good or not. But I think Gigi said something like an unselfish act is a selfish act or some shit. What did you say, Gigi?
There's no such thing as an act that's not selfish.
What exactly did?
If you're helping other people, the reason you're doing it is because it makes you feel good to help other people.
Right. You think it's in your interest to help others.
Yeah,
but exactly how did she put it? Can you quote her?
You're just using
just
other
said it.
people as tools. You're just using other people as tools to make yourself feel good about yourself.
But there's two ways in which that could be true, right? And that distinction is an important one. So what words do you want to use for that? Meaning, if we're going to use the word selfish to mean that, then we need a new word.
That's actually really deep from Gigi. I
Uh,
like it.
John, that's like a really old, pretty like.
It is. Actually, Ayn Rand used to make that exact argument many years ago.
No.
Another genius, Ayn Rand.
Well, the way I see it,
That's
maybe we
like a
disagree.
that's like a pre-atheist like 101 level.
That's philosophy 101, yo.
Well, maybe we're looking at it differently. Like I said earlier, I mean, I see it that, whenever people act
John,
selfish
John,
or
John, when you're
Yeah.
smoking pot, everything's deep.